Hello, everybody. Welcome to PowerShell Wednesdays. Every single Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. We're here learning PowerShell. We don't stop. PowerShell podcast does not stop. Celebrating episode 200 in the flesh, Austin, Texas, SpiceWorld 2025, with two PowerShell legends, some powerhouses, some returning guests. They've been around the community for a while. You know them, you love them. James Petty, Stephen Judd. Welcome to PowerShell Wednesday. Check out Discord, discord.gg/PDQ. We have an awesome Discord PowerShell scripting channel in there. It's always popping off. Shout out to everybody. And if you're here right now, feel free to ask questions as we go through today. We have some very smart people here, and I'm not including myself in that. And some speakers.
Oh, shoot. Should we have brought them?
Oh, we did forget them upstairs. Whoops.
Maybe they're at the booth.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
I tell my kids that all the time.
Let's start with James. So, James, we were teasing it a little bit with the whole AI thing. So you gave a talk a little bit today about AI and PowerShell, right?
Yeah, so I had a talk earlier today talking about how AI is an enhancement for your PowerShell abilities and not it's not a whole hog replacement. It can't be. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
No, it's important to be aware of that too. It's always interesting with new tools. You know, you kind of, as things roll out, as industries adopt them, you need to be sort of aware, and that's a clear and great warning for you. But, you know, shout out to everybody who's here in every single Wednesday online with us actually learning PowerShell so you can understand the output you're getting.
Right. That's what's important is understanding what AI is giving you and not just blindly copying it.
So you said you had some terrible scripts. Like, what are you referring to there? I was not in the session. I was at the booth for the PDQ booth, but what was going on with that?
Yeah. Hold on.
We're clicking.
Got to get on Do Not Disturb.
Share button. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, we just went to ChatGPT. Well, I think this one was Gemini, and said, "Hey, write me a script to connect to a SQL server," and it did, and it wrote the script, and it would have connected to a SQL server had I had a SQL server available, but it did some really bad things. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute.
Yeah, I'd love to see. Let's see what we're working with here. While Steve,
or now, I guess we can do that.
Glance. Click remove just for a second, Stephen.
You want me to go ahead and?
Yep. Yeah. Click present.
Share screen.
Yeah. No. On the walk over here, you were talking about a certain thing that we'll mention, and that was a little bit notable.
Entire window. That should be it.
All right. Let me click a button here, and we're gonna get some magic going on. Okay.
Yeah. So let's get a couple things in the comments. What are some things that you see right now? Because
such a common pattern, right? This is the go-to pattern you see all the time with people who haven't maybe learned best practice. Maybe they're not tuning into PowerShell Wednesdays. You just got static variables. That's what I'm seeing instantly.
Static variables. First thing that jumps out to me
my gosh.
is that we're not using DBA tools, which we should. And we're using standard .NET connections. But most importantly, down here on line 11, we have a clear text password. Like, come on, people. Secrets management.
Plain text passwords are the absolute
worst. Or
at
the very least, use Windows authentication. Send it that PS credential value.
Yep. No, you absolutely have to. Can't warn people enough about that. Like, no matter where you are in your career, if it's normalized where you work, you really need to move away from ever doing it. It is a bad practice. It will bite you. It's like a very, very bad practice that you really don't want to do. Like, there's a lot of things we don't want to do, but plain text passwords. Let's move past it.
Plain text API keys. I see all the time at work. People are constantly putting API keys inside of their scripts, and like, that's your password. Don't do that.
I mean, just because something, I think it's a reminder. If something successfully completes, that does not mean that it is actually successful.
No, I don't think that one is in this one. Oh, there it is. Down here at the very bottom. We were talking about this, about how Gemini is really bad about it, but all the other models essentially do this. They always put this one to use right host, which we shouldn't do that to begin with. But they always put, "Hey, I'm done." There's no try catch in here. There's no nothing. There's no error handling. There's no logging, and so even if it didn't run, it's going to say, I ran. The feedback you're getting is not accurate at all.
Yep.
So I may have a controversial.
Let me add you.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry,
I may have a controversial opinion on that, but I actually like Right Host. I actually do, and I use it because one of the things I like about it is you can do colors,
right,
which is very handy for people who are not familiar with PowerShell, and they can see things happening. And it's like yellow, this means you're gonna have to wait a little bit. Green, that means all things are good. Orange, magenta, you know, all these color choices, and they can actually convey information and meaning without having to read the text. So
Right.
that's helpful. The other thing I like about it is I always try to write functions that return objects, and I want those objects to show up in the stream, but I don't want to pollute my stream with information. So I use write host because I know it's not going to pollute the success stream.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It goes to the info stream.
Yep.
Okay. We got a little debate going on. I think both people are right ultimately, right? You kind of want to tailor the UX of whatever you're doing for your audience. In the probably ideal world, your whole team is understanding PowerShell. They're well trained on it. They don't need the sort of guardrails. But if they're not, if they can get value from those, well, I think the security tools a lot. They'll have like a banner whenever you run the tool that says like in huge brick letters, and I guess different strokes for different folks. If you are writing scripts that you can then save and check into source control and improve over time, I think you're winning, because over time you can change these practices to accommodate, but as long as you're getting something that you can grow with and further identify the needs of your business.
For sure.
Well, pull it back up, James. I got to see that last
my bad.
line. We got to harp on that last line.
We're not done with the code review on
Because
this.
not everyone knows how PowerShell runs.
So I also want to reiterate, I did not write this.
Just on your computer.
For the record.
For the record, you can
And
remember this however you want.
I did not run it, most importantly.
You didn't run something with an essay and a password in clear text?
I was wondering how long it was going to take someone to say that. I didn't see anything in the comments like, it is 2025 people. We shouldn't be logging in with SA. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot you can
Yeah, your never do this needs a little bit more lifting there. Needs one more line at least.
So let's go to the bottom. So like 29. So basically, if you run this script, no matter what really happens before it, if it runs that last line, it's going to say it was successful.
Yeah, right. So it doesn't matter what happened above it. Doesn't matter if it errored out, didn't connect, SQL Server not on, wrong password. It's going to write out to the host, right out to the screen saying, I did it.
So let's imagine there's a situation. Someone's newer to IT. They get a script. They're trying to figure things out and solve something. They have it. They run it. And all of a sudden it says it's successful. They don't have the understanding of figuring out what actually is going on or to rerun it in any other way. Can you imagine how hard it is to troubleshoot if you can't actually address what's going on? There's just this magic box that you have to just sort of base everything off of.
Yeah, and sure, had it hit an error, we would have got the wall of red text if you wanted it, but but if you hit
it could have an error action.
So that's if you hit a syntax error. If you hit a logical error, it executed correctly, and there is no feedback at that point. So the only feedback you have is I'm done, and then you go whatever this is actually trying to do.
Interesting.
And there is nothing. Like, it didn't work.
Oh yeah, I personally like line 23 where it's here's the results. No, it's in a while loop, like you talked about. It's possible that while reader.read isn't actually going to execute properly, and so you go into the while loop and you never come out. That's a possibility.
Right, yeah, there's definitely not.
And then 23, it's doing a write host, so it's writing host to the text. It's a screen. You can't even log that stuff unless you're using the transcript, so you can't capture it. It's not returning an object. I mean, when it comes to PowerShell, does this get the job? Well, yeah, it might get the job done, but it's hacky, and it's not good following good PowerShell principles that we're either teaching people or we're already familiar with.
Like some small ones, like you said, outputting objects, parameters, no plain text. Those are very small standards to adopt. They really don't take a whole lot of knowledge, and if you have them, you can do a lot more. Like, it's a big improvement to how sustainable it is.
To be fair, when I started with PowerShell back, it's like seriously in 2010, 2011 timeframe, I used write host to write output onto the console because that's how
we would debug.
That's what I knew at the time. I didn't have a programming background. I didn't understand the object models. I didn't know what methods and properties were about. Once I learned that, I had the whole, oh my gosh, this is unbelievably powerful, and so you can do a lot with it. So if you're listening to my voice and you don't understand the object model and how object-oriented programming is, please start there, because it'll open up so much PowerShell capability for you.
Right. Yeah. Understanding the objects and the properties and how they work is key.
Yep. I'll also say though, for whenever I was in PowerShell, like, there's so much at once. Like, you're hearing all these things. They're amazing to know about, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Like, whatever you're capable of doing now, do that. Write that first script with write host, and you'll know in the future there's always more practices. And as you build forward, you can do that. But if you're dabbling here and you're hearing some stuff that you can apply and other stuff that's more confusing, just focus on what you can do with where you are now. And you're here right now. You'll keep coming. You'll keep growing. These things you're learning that are new now will be like comfortable, and you can grow on top of it. So It's the long game we're playing here.
Don't be discouraged. I could definitely see myself writing this, something like this when I first started.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I wrote something similar to this.
For
Not
sure.
with SQL because I can't spell SQL, but
I
interacting with AD or something, I would have written something very similar.
Oh yeah, I very much wish I had a copy of my first .ps1 script that I wrote because I remember it. I just don't have a copy of it. And it was I had servers. I was a web admin, and I had a list of servers that I was administratively responsible for. So I put those in a text file called servers.txt, and I learned about get content. So I could do get content on that file, and it would list all my servers. And then I thought I discovered that you can pipeline from things to something else. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Oh, you can also do for each. So I pipelined into for each object, and for each one of those servers coming across the pipeline, the server names, I did test connection to see whether it was
There we
online
go.
or not.
So for those who don't know, test connection is the new replacement for ping.
Right.
PowerShell equivalent.
So it's, ICMP packaged out to see whether it's alive, and it'll either return true or false. And so then I put an if command on there. I'm like, this is so cool. I can do all this stuff. So I put if in there, and I said, if true, write host server name is online.
Yep, then they're done that.
And then if false, I had an else, right? And so else server is offline, and to make it distinct, I capitalized offline. So it's visibly distinct. And I would run this thing, and it would show it just, one server at a time, ICMP, tell me whether it was online. And I was like, that was my first script I ever wrote.
But it solved your problem at the time.
That's right, it did. And then once I learned about the object model, I'm like, wait, I can do more with this. So then I had server name in a column because I did a PS object, and then I put online in a column. So online is now true or false. I'm basically duplicating what the commandlet already does.
Yep.
But I didn't know any better.
Right.
So I started building it. And then, when you're talking about building things that is already done, I wrote an entire function to send output to a log file and to screen. You know what that's called?
T-object.
T-object.
Yep. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of things in PowerShell that are hard to discover if you're not really looking. Like on your natural progression, are you going to run into T-object? Maybe if you're getting kind of niche.
I've never once seen that actually used in real life.
I've seen it used once.
Oh, you should read my code because my code has T-object in it.
Yeah, it's
Teed them up for that one. I've asked the chat. The chat has decided. Oh, they decreed it actually. Oh, someone has a crown out there as well. Oh boy, got to listen to him. We mentioned that there were some easy fixes. We don't have to make the script actually work, but let's look at the script again and let's see if we can't make some of those changes. Like show people what it would practically look like. We don't have to make every change, but let's do maybe a param block. Show them what that looks like. Show them maybe output a dummy object at the end to show them because like we're saying these are small changes. Let's show it's like really is a couple commas here and there, a couple words, and you can take advantage of a bunch of stuff. And this ties into what you talked about a little bit about like parameters and stuff like that. What was your topic?
Oh, so I had parameter validation.
Yeah.
We were going to cover that, but I'll show you a little bit of the formatting and then parameter validation that Sean Wheeler and I talked about in our session yesterday.
Yeah. So what we'll look at here is like the basics of how to make a parameter. And then yours, we'll just look at like, okay, you've got a parameter and you want to really take advantage of it. So if you're tuning in out there, we'll start on the low end here, something you can really quickly, easily do.
So I guess you and I have to talk amongst ourselves while James feverishly types.
Let him go. Let's let him go.
I know he's banging this thing out. It looks.
He's going for an actual function. I was thinking just leave it as a script, but functions are really helpful.
No, don't follow chat. Copilot with the dashes and the function name.
Oh my god,
that's horrible.
Maybe
isn't there a way that we can like vibe code together?
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Possibly.
I don't remember how to do that.
I say just make it a script for super easily. Let's just put a param block because I just want to show param block, get credential, or and make it so it's a PS credential, and then output PS custom object. Because I think those are three of the big wins.
It's trying to help him again. And
it's not working very well.
No pressure, James. We're just all watching you code live.
Right.
Like everyone else is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that's not me.
Your scripts, when you actually save them, they don't need to be perfect the first time. And apparently needed as the code that you write, because you can always just delete it and rewrite the line like 4 times, which we've all done, especially with the tab completion options and the it's like templates and stuff.
Do something like that.
Okay.
There's the param block.
So
right.
Okay. What my idea is, and it's basically the exact same thing you did, would be to, put the end of the param block just on line 14. Like, so delete the after the param on 8. You know what I'm saying? Just because if they just did that.
So okay, we can just remove these, right? Okay, we just need a password.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Here. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't actually read any of the code.
There it is.
And then we'll
comment at the end, I think.
There's a comment right there. Yeah.
Boom. Oh, you said teed off. Nice. I was gonna say I teed him off for that one. I just did.
Password.
I think do you have to get credential in parentheses in order for it to execute that?
This is we'll talk about formatting a little bit too and how this approach will work, but maybe it is a little bit more helpful if you have things on separate lines.
Yeah, notice it did .password at the end. So
string type, secure string.
Yeah, so you can put a type on this. It sounds like it's barking at us for good reason. It's a bad practice to do it. So fortunately,
there we go. That'll work.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we got here? So you said param, so it knows it's a parameter block. You gave it variables that it's going to be looking for. What if we had we really only have one server in our organization? Can we set a default value for server name? So it's basically hard coded, but it's also flexible, if that makes sense. Okay. So we got that, maybe database, there could be some username, whatever. You can set these to your situation. So if you have that script like we saw initially, where it's just variables that are hard coded, you can wrap that in a param block. It's a very easy entry point. You can wrap that, and all of a sudden you have values now, and in the future when you call the script, dash parameter, and you can change the value. And it's you're creating a tool rather than just solving one problem. Maybe you won't use it again, but it's the correct approach. Yeah, default values in param block. I'm a huge fan as well.
Oh no.
I used the backtick. I know.
Did you use a back? No. I'm gonna have to call no on that one.
It's because I'm on a 13-inch screen.
No. Just
enter.
Just do enters after each comma, because it's an array, so it'll work.
Or I could have splatted it, but
yeah. No, this is param block. We're good. Now you gotta please kill that grave character.
Grave, excuse me. It's Grave.
Is it Grave?
And then the magic.
It's groovy.
I think it's Groove if you're putting it into one of those Groove boats and putting it on turkey. I call it grave because it needs to be killed.
I agree with you there, man.
No, it's still necessary for doing things like tab characters or new lines. So you still have to use it.
It's good to know about it because you will see it in other scripts.
That's right. Oh, you know where that messed me up? Well, since we're just BSing here, trying to find tab characters in your code, but if you put the single quotes around it, it'll treat it as literal, not as the tab character. So you have to make sure you use the double quotes around it.
Single quotes versus double quotes. Here we go.
When you say those fancy words, we almost have to show. But I got a question here from somebody that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I must have missed something critical while replying to an email. Scott, my buddy, it shouldn't be. It's okay. I get it. Business comes first. Friends second, I guess. What exactly is the param block doing for us versus just typing these out in the script? So maybe.
Yeah. So what this is going to do is allow us to take these parameters. We can now call the script later, and we could it's going to prompt us to this information, or we can not currently as it is, but we could also very easily put accept input from the pipeline. Or more importantly, if you wanted to run this in a loop, you could really easily put this in a for each and just start grabbing all that stuff in. The point is, we shouldn't be hard coding values if we think we're going to make something reusable.
And because I keep putting you on the spot while we're live, I'll tell you what to do. Can you hit save on this script? Oh, unless it ruins your demo.
I know. I made a copy. See, it says corrected.
Okay, so click save on that real quick, or Control S, whatever you want. And then at the bottom, can you do ampersand space period backslash? I know I'm saying a lot of characters here. Ampersand is a little AM thing, space, dot backslash, and then whatever this is, demo2-AI. Well, you got a lot of demos. This guy's been busy. Okay, we get it. Didn't have to show off like that. We knew that was going to happen when we pressed tab.
He tab flexed on us. I'm telling you what, look out.
AI.
SQL.
That's corrected, not PS1.
Okay, so that was the same thing as if you were to go ampersand space users the full path, but since we're here, we can do relative path. You just call this script, and then you can do tab completion for the parameters. Okay. Look at that. So we could run it straight up with nothing, but also we could customize it, make it adaptable. If the computer name changes in the future, we can, whatever. We have a test environment, we can switch it up if we need to.
I think we have it written. The password, I don't put the password in that. So I was like, Jim, sorry. My domain controller is not working. So, and by working, it's not on.
It's
Yep.
getting our credential password. But
Right.
who cares? There's stuff you can do. I think honestly covering credentials and how to handle those is probably a separate PS Wednesday because there's some
Right.
finesse to it, and you'll have to look up some of that stuff. But you need to handle things that way. Microsoft has done the hard work of making it sort of work for you. Check out Get Credential. There's also secret management.
Yeah, secret management. If you're not familiar with that, that's fantastic.
But I did like Scott's question, right? Where he's like, now, why would you do this, right? Because most, like, depending upon where you are in your PowerShell journey, you start from entering commands at the command line, and then you start saving those commands into a script, and you run the script. And once you start parameterizing your properties, it can still be a script. It still does everything from top to bottom. But what I would do in something like that is I would put the most likely, most used variables in the parameter block, like Andrew was talking about, where we did, here's your server name, here's your database. But because they're parameterized, you can change them on execution, just like we saw James enter into the command window of VS Code. So then it's, hey, I don't want to use this server name. I want to switch over to this server name.
Yep.
And then you can do it that way. And that's what I used to call the advanced script, because you put a parameter block in there and you've got some level of flexibility. Now the challenge with that is you still have to know where that script is in order to execute it.
Right.
So it's not like it's available globally. You haven't loaded it into memory, and that's where the functions come into play, right?
I have a question for the audience.
For the audience or from the audience?
For the audience.
Uh-oh.
Are you a script kiddie or are you a tool maker? And you know what, Stephen Judd, I think that when you take these small initiatives like you're showing, you literally are building tools. You're not just building scripts to solve one thing.
That's right.
It takes a small mindset shift, and all of a sudden you're paving your way for a way better future.
That's exactly right.
Best practice. And it doesn't really take much. Fortunately, people are connected and here at the moment if you're seeing this.
Right.
But you just need to kind of know what to do, and little by little you can build upon that. If you already have params and you now learn about parameter validation, you can really make sure that not only are they tools, they're durable tools. They're securing inputs. You're validating things. You can put like trust behind it in your org. It's not just solving your problems.
Right.
There's like some more stuff behind automated testing, all the good things. That
let me
upper limits high.
Let me show you one of my code example here when we're talking about parameters. So let's see.
Oh my gosh! I
got
off the stage.
Did you?
Sorry about
kick me off?
I was like,
okay, so I may need a little tech support because I got to figure out how to share my screen here. I'm gonna go down. I think it's this one, and I do share screen. And it's telling me the sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. I forgot to bring my 2-monitor laptop with me on this one. So let's see. I want to share the entire screen. So buckle up. This is always risky. Here we go. Okay.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, the suspense and all that. We're about to find out what's happening. Okay, are we good? We're good. Hopefully you can
nope,
see
I didn't press the right button. I'm reading chat. I'm sorry. I was lost in the sauce, as they say.
Okay.
Can we go a little bit bigger, just slightly?
A little bit bigger.
It's still loading for me, but don't wait on me.
Okay, how's that?
Amazing.
How's that? Don't see anything?
No, it looks good.
Please stand by. All right, here we go. So notice Judd 5 years ago. This is a
There you are.
toss back into the past, right? And so the thing I wanted to show is like on these parameters that I did, I put in support should process in my command binding because I wanted this function to be able to have the dash what if parameter. And so I turned it on here in command line binding. But then, as you see, I commented out my validate script because this particular command here was somewhat problematic in my validate script, but I left it in here in case I ever came back and fixed it.
5 years ago.
Right, 5 years ago, exactly. So nowadays, I don't do mandatory equals true. I just put mandatory. I don't do value from pipeline equals true. I just do value from pipeline by property
That's
name.
implied, yeah.
Because if you specify it in the parameter, I've just forgotten what that's called, where you do an attribute to a variable. You know, when you put them in there, by default they're true. So equals true is just extra characters doing nothing for you, right?
Well, you have to read, because if you start using that in all your scripts, there's an equal, if the value is listed, you don't know if it's true or false. You have to actually read more.
Basically. Right. So then, you know, if you look at how that would look today, I gotta make it bigger so you guys can. Holy moly, that's big. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna shrink it down. So this is what it would look like if I did it today. Okay, because I'm just saying this is mandatory. The position. Now again, the validate script doesn't work, so I left it in there. But then, you know, here's the next one, parameter, etc. Now this one's interesting because this one has an alias on it, right? And so I have VM name as the actual parameter, or the parameter, but then it can also take name and computer name, because depending upon which command that you're using, if you're doing get AD computer, it's going to return a property called name, right? And so I needed to be able to handle VM name, name, and computer name. And all of those, because I said value from I'm starting to sound like Andrew over there. Value from pipeline by property name. Teasing you, Andrew. Because I put that on there, when the object comes across the pipeline and it sees a name object on there, or a name property on there, it just binds it directly to VM name. And so I can basically pulling from computer names by doing get azvm, because those will come across as VM names, if I remember correctly, or I can do it from get AD computer, and those will come across as name. So this is extremely flexible, but it gives you a lot of power.
Quick audible as we make a mic shift.
Are we getting bad audio? Okay.
How are we doing now, everybody? How is this lovely audio? Apologies for the issue there.
Okay. We want the audio to be pristine, so we'll pass the mic back and forth. All right, let me repeat everything I just said. I'm kidding.
Well, we can break it down a little bit for me and kind of go over what we're looking at here.
Okay.
Because wow, dude, my thing is bugged now. Oh no.
So while he's doing that, not that they can hear me, but tell me about the rainbow indent.
Oh, the rainbow indent. Yeah. So some people may have picked up on that, where I don't know why this is indented so heavily, but I've added where is it, down here on my extensions for VS Code. Let me put in. I'll do indent because it'll find it better, right? So here's indent rainbow. And so every time I've got spaces that indicate an indent, it colors it in for me. And that just, it's just a visual indicator. And then the other one that I personally like is the color bracketizer, or whatever that's called. And where it's like, okay, if this one is yellow, I should have another yellow one below it. And if this one's blue, there should be a matching blue. Well, where you'll see that the most is down when you're like actually into the code itself. And so let me close this extensions thing out so we can see the code a little better. So here I'm doing an if statement here on line 130, and notice I got 2 brackets, and then right below it I've got yet another colored bracket. And so now I can visually indicate, it's easy to see, oh, this one goes with that one, this one over here goes with that one, and where's the blue one? Oh wait, I got more yellows, oh, another magenta. Oh, and once I get to this final blue, also if you highlight it, it shows you where the other one is. So that's super handy for figuring out where your code is.
Kids these days don't know how good they got it. Back in our day, oh man, VS Code didn't even exist.
Oh shoot! In my day, I had to have a ruler nearby to hold up to the monitor to see what was in alignment.
We're gonna have to have a conversation about where you put your brackets.
Are we gonna have
the
conversation?
OTBS?
Okay.
Well, I want to circle back and just wrap up the parameter thing real quick.
Right,
if you can scroll up to make sure it's because it is so newer for so many people. Just want to one more time cover it. Okay.
All right.
We
so,
mentioned parameters. They're how you modify how a script or function
yeah, we'll
does.
look at this one.
And you can control the parameters by changing things on them. Like you see their parameter, you can add some things like making it mandatory positions, value from pipeline by property name, which is the whole being able to use the pipe kind of thing. Aliases as well, strings, so you can define the types. And you can also do a bunch of validation as well on top of all that.
That's right. So you can do validate script. I have another example here, if I can find it really quickly, where I have validate range and I have validate set. And so range is, it has to be an integer between the low range and the high range. And then on the validate set, it has to match whatever is in there. And then if you really want to get fancy, you can start doing things like argument completers. Now, that's a more advanced feature, but you need to know that argument completers are extremely powerful and useful. And you can like preset certain completers in there, but then you can have it complete on its own in other ways. I don't know if there's a presentation anywhere on argument completers. Sean Wheeler did an excellent one yesterday in our class, but I don't know if we have that anywhere. So maybe we
Is
put that
Stevie
on the PowerShell Wednesday list.
Yeah, definitely. So just total wrap up on parameters. If you're writing scripts and you have hard-coded variables, so variable equals, and it's a static string or number or something like that, you just wrap it in a param block, and now all of a sudden you have parameters. And then from there, you can iterate, you can add all this other stuff. And the high end on the experience you can bring, the value you can bring from the parameters is quite high, but you can get in super early and easy.
Right.
And kind of grow with it as your needs change, as your scripts grow bigger.
Exactly. So this is just following a good security principle of input validation. Like if you want your scripts to be durable and reliable, then you need to make sure what's coming into your script matches what you're expecting. So like, on this case, I have a byte type. So if I don't send it a byte type, it's not going to work. But, if you're doing a string, you kind of hope you're getting a string. So if you send it a full blown object, it's your script may have some issues in there. So you're doing these kinds of things in order to make your code very durable. And then, for other people who are using it, that will help them as well. So you wrote it, you understand it, but then you hand it off to someone else, like a coworker or a friend, and then you want it to be as durable for them as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I hope maybe a lot of people have heard of SQL injections. Right. And maybe early in your career, you don't understand that like secure coding principles apply to everybody. But if you are aware that that is a thing that needs to happen, well, there's really easy tools that can help you with that.
Yeah. When you're talking about SQL injections, I just shoot my shot for the injection. Yes.
No, I got it.
Hey, you know what? I'm on brand, man. I said way too many words without a dad joke. It was building up in me. I had to.
You earned it.
I had to let that steam out.
One of the vendors downstairs has a calendar with the dad joke of the day on it.
Do they really?
They do.
And it's actually a photo of you as well. Did you not know about that?
That's weird. Something has gone off the rails here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, secure coding principles matter. No plain text. You have opportunities to be secure in how you do things, and cleaning up old stuff is its own issue. You don't want to be introducing new technical debt by having insecure practices.
I think James wanted to roast me on the formatting the parentheses. Take your chances there, James. Wait, does he need a microphone to roast me?
I think they can hear you is what I was hearing. They can hear James just fine. Yeah. Yeah, no.
All right. You have to scroll down a little bit to where you had it, but essentially it was somewhere down there. You had two parentheses and a squiggly bracket all in one line.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that wasn't this one.
Line 132 is a good example. You have 1, 2, 3 in a row. So I've always been of the opinion that you get one per line.
Oh.
What line are we looking at? Which number?
132. That's what it is.
Okay.
So that would be, yes, it makes your code more loaded, but there should always be either one opening or one closing per line.
All right. So I'm going to talk about two different things here where I have abused the format here, because notice my begin has nothing in it, but I put the curly braces open and closed on it. But then process here has the curly brace afterwards.
Curly brace is supposed to be next to process. It's
now,
not supposed to be on its own line.
It can and it cannot. It can do both. Now, this is where James and I are going to get into it. And remember, this is 5 years ago, at least. So actually, this one is from 7 years ago. It was just 5 years ago I put it in Git. right? So I used to code like this. I do not code like this anymore because what James is describing is the one true race style. And I left it in here on purpose so that you could see, like line 132, which I'm going to highlight, you have to scroll way over here in order to see the whole line. I don't even know how many characters that sucker is, right? I think VS Code will tell me. Yeah, 194 in the column field, right? And so if someone's reading your code, and especially if you're doing code reviews on previous version, next version, you make a change there, that's a big pain. So best practice now is to keep your columns short and to follow OTBS. And I'll tell you what
As also go back real quick. I just want to show our friends why I prefer to put it. So hover over line 130 over to the left. You know the little caret where you can collapse it. Scroll, yeah. So if you click that little caret, that will collapse everything into squiggly braces. The reason I like to put it up next to process is because it moves everything up, and I can very clearly see that squiggly brace is for that. For that.
Oh,
that's just why I like.
I'm a huge advocate for OTBS.
Yeah, I just wanted to show our friends why.
Yeah, so just
why we were going down the rabbit hole.
And if you haven't seen these processes before, basically all we're talking about is where the little curly brackets go when you press enter, what's on the same line, what goes to the next line. Because if you're actually reading scripts, that kind of thing does affect. And if you are switching between different styles, like it takes a lot longer to process things.
Here's basically what James is talking about is if I close down this process, it closes it down like this. Yeah. Now they both close down. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So they both work. But now look at my if block here. So it's now this long in order to get the if block. It may be somewhat hard to read, but now each and statement is on its own line. So it's this and this.
Can you take it off the screen
this? Right?
You got to fix it soon. I honestly, I'm not super like, oh, you got to be like me. But this actually like hurts my brain slightly to read. I'm not kidding. I'm not like trying to be like an elitist.
No,
like this
fine.
is, this is not how I see it.
If it were me, I would have done the if on 130 gets the blue squiggly blue opening, and then line 131 would have the yellow, and then line 132 would be the get AZVM, and then reverse it back.
Yeah.
The yellow would be on one line, the blue would be on line, the squiggly bracket. Then you let the format document. Because one of the reasons for doing that is format document will automatically go and tab and everything for you.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying because this.
I agree with Andrew. This hurt my head.
This really yellow here is associated with this yellow over here.
Yep.
And so they're not on the same line. So I agree with you in that case that this does need to be put down here and this needs to be like that.
I thought that yellow was associated with the yellow on 134.
No, 134.
We can also show our friends if you click on
Oh my goodness!
It will actually show you what it's paired with.
That's right. So I have uglied this up a little bit, and I did this on the fly. So I apologize for it. I think I deleted something extra there. I will now fix it live because both of my esteemed colleagues are correct in that is an ugly way to go about it. So this is what I would now consider correct.
I would put the squiggly bracket on the line, but semantics.
Well,
okay,
fair enough.
But much better than it was before.
The whole point is that these things now, in my if block, everything from here to here is my conditional, and each and statement is on its own line, so I can easily read them, and I can, make adjustments to them, and I can do comments after them that says, what this is doing. Right. So like here, I can do checking force parameter, or since GitHub filled that in for me, whatever, I'm checking to make sure force parameter is not set. All right. Well, I'm going to take that one because it's nice and wordy and I like it. So that explains, what I'm doing right there. And there's some tips that you can do in PowerShell where you've got the line continuation characters, where like this open parentheses, PowerShell just knows, hey, someone's supposed to come after here. Oh, there's nothing else on this line? Fine. I'll go to the next line and manage it, right? So we know that. But then if someone new comes and reads my code, they're like, what are you doing? Here, I don't want to scroll too far off that. They're like, what are you doing with this? Well, what I've done is I've made it easy to read. Also, pay attention to the next write warning message. This is a long text line. It goes off the right. So what I did was I broke it up into an array. And so here
did the ampersand and the open parentheses. And then after the closing parentheses, which is right here, I do join on space. So it takes this text and it takes this text and it joins them together into my warning message. And then I write warning, the warning message. That's how I can keep it short and I don't use backticks.
Yeah, the goal is you should never have a scroll bar.
That is the goal.
If you can avoid it at all costs.
If you can avoid it, yeah.
All right. Are we covering something else? Because I'm ready to fix this and talk about something related to that. If you're going to pivot there, if you know what I'm saying, if not, I'll lead you there.
I think I'll leave it there.
Okay.
I don't know what else I have to say about my terrible formatting. But the point is, I'm sorry, I did have one other thing. The reason I converted to OTBS is because if you do anything with pester and you do your pester commands, you cannot put your curly brace on another line because it's doing script blocks as the parameter input. So if you do a pester and you roll down to the next line, it takes that as an executed command and it doesn't know what to do with it. So then in my code, I had my pester commands with the nestled curly braces, and then my actual code with the curly braces on the other line. And I'm like, okay, I'm now disjointed. But this is also before I knew about OTBS, which is the one true brace style, which is now the PowerShell preferred way to do things. And so I'm like, so I found out about it before I found out about it, right? No, that was a terrible sentence. I started doing it before I found out about it. And now that I know about it, I'm like, well, of course this makes the most sense. So that's why I encourage everyone who may not be a fan of the curly brace on the same line to start doing it, because once you get into pester, you're going to have to. Exactly.
Okay.
All right, Andrew.
So
sorry.
OTBS is the go-to, but I'm honestly just dying at how ugly the script is. But there's hope. So like you have a script, you choose OTBS as your go-to. So we've made that choice in my mind. Is there anything I could do with like VS Code to make this a little bit easier for me to save me some fixing?
Sure. So if I bop back over to my old one, you can press the F1 key, which will take you up here to the command, and you can do format document.
Yep.
And format document will auto OTBS this for you.
It's
so
amazing.
I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it live. I wrote it myself, so we'll do it live.
This is also assuming you don't have any custom formatters.
Correct.
Built in, but
well, now look at the process line. Fixed it.
Yep.
Here's the else. Now the else has a little bit of a problem that the formatter couldn't fix because I got a comment at the end of my if block here, right? So else should be after this parentheses, but this comment is now in the way. So it was unable to fix everything. So there's still
this is how I prefer it anyways.
Yeah. So there's still some that you have to do, because if you're going to follow the true OTBS, you have cuddled else's.
A format document.
Format document will save you a lot. And then the final thing that is so controversial, 2 spaces for your indentions. It saves, if you're trying to get within, like I've got lines here, ruler lines for 80 and 100, and I even have them for 120, just so I know how wide I'm going. If you're trying to get everything within 80, heaven forbid, or within 100, which is the Microsoft documentation standard, then you're gonna have to give up on the 4 spaces. I'm sorry, because once you start indenting to like here, I mean that's all.
Taking up a lot of space.
When I say here, I'm talking about line 137. You're burning a lot of space at the beginning, and you don't have enough left for your code.
Yeah. You have to squeeze your code tight because, like you said earlier, you don't want them to go too long because then you can't read them.
Yeah.
It's not maintainable. You got to word wrap or do something that looks a little weird. A couple other things you have here. And wait, spaces are more accessible, right? Technically, for like screen reader type stuff. I think it is.
I don't remember what spaces or tabs.
I'm pretty sure
that's a holy
spaces.
war I lost many times over, and I just can't fight it anymore.
The beautiful thing is you can set these. So like inside your settings.json, you can set these things for yourself. You like 2 spaces, whatever it is.
Right.
And if you adopt that for yourself, and you're like, oh, these are settings that we're going to want in all of our PowerShell scripts. Well, in your projects or within your teams, you can share those settings, but also have like a .vs code folder, and you can put stuff inside of it. And if you're opening up that project, those will be inherited in your VS Code session. A lot of words there. Basically, VS Code makes some of this stuff automatic once you make the choice. And there's ways to share it with your team and contributors to your projects.
Right. And as you already have discovered, if you were listening to this stream and watching us here, we don't have the same opinion on the format. Now, the goal here would be, if we were all in the same organization, we would need to coalesce on agreed upon format that we would all abide by, so that our code is maybe not the same, but at least very similar, right? So we can jokingly tease each other about this. It's fine.
Yep.
You know, but you're not going to hurt my feelings by saying, you know, hey, that 130 to 134 bit hurts my eyes. I'm like, yeah, but I can read it super easily. One, because I wrote it, but two, I'm familiar with why I do this versus having it on one big line, right? In your organization or with your teammates, when you're doing code, you guys are going to have to coalesce on this, and you know, try not to be too dogmatic, because what good does it do you? You know, just try to do the things that make the most sense.
But at the end of the day, like someone said in the chat, it works. So,
Yep. Shout out Sir Ginger.
At the end of the day, that's what's more important.
1,000,000%. There's always room to grow in the future. You're never going to get everything perfect the first try. And also, everyone's needs are different. Like, what you hear best practice for some works is not going to work for you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, anybody who's listening to me talk have heard me say working code is working code.
Oh, yeah.
Both of my code examples work. They both do exactly what I want them to do, which is resize an Azure virtual machine. Both of them work exactly right. I like this format better. This is my newer one, right? Because I win it. But 7 years ago, I was doing things different. That takes me to my next point that I always say. We're all on our journeys. We're all learning. We're all adapting. I'm sure in a few years, there'll be things that I'll look back at code that I wrote today, and I'll go, there's better ways to do this now.
Absolutely.
Sure, there will be.
I think another point that comes up is like commenting scripts. PowerShell is largely self-documenting. You know, the commandlets say what they're going to do most of the time. But so maybe you don't need comments on everything. Maybe your team knows almost nothing, and like your replacement, maybe first time with PowerShell, maybe you're going to need to comment more lines than you would otherwise. You can't assume that they're going to know maybe the for each is looping through something. Maybe you'll need to tell them that. But yeah, be where you are, grow over time, enjoy your jobs.
Sure.
Be a tool maker.
The thing I like about the commenting, you know, if we're going to talk about commenting, is I heard someone say, comment the why, not the what.
Mm-hmm.
Because the code tells you what. You know, the code should explain, here's what I did, right? But then the why, is like, you may have done a bizarre pattern for whatever reason. Or, you know, my personal favorite, you may have put a big complicated regex into your code. Well, that would be a good time to explain why you did that. Or that might be the actual exception of, this is complicated enough, I need to explain what this is doing. But generally speaking, you comment why and let PowerShell readability handle the what for you.
Yeah, makes complete sense.
Boom. Was there anything else we wanted to make sure we covered? I mean, we could kind of hang out a little bit. You guys learned something, I hope. We covered a lot of really important stuff. And I don't think if you listen to things for the first time, it's probably not going to totally cement. You got to get a little inspiration. Oh, wow, they sounded excited. Take it back. You get excited. You learn it. And you'll realize that a lot of this stuff, we're using advanced words and phrases and talking about bracket positioning. The only reason we're able to do that is because we've just written the code for a long enough time. We kind of know where it is. It's just patterns over time.
Right.
It's not like some magic thing where it's really intuitive the first time you see all this stuff, all these different characters. If you've only written English, you haven't really used many brackets in your life, probably.
Right. And, you know, the reason that I like doing these type of events, or like speaking at conferences, user groups, whatever, is I missed out on a lot of this when I was getting started with PowerShell a lot because I didn't know about it, but also it wasn't as available or ubiquitous. There wasn't a Discord, a PDQ Discord channel that I could just roll into and go, you know, I don't understand what this is doing. Can someone help me? And, you know, legitimate experts in there willing to help, saying, you know, oh, okay, here's what you do. Well, now that I've learned it, I'm trying to say, hey, here's what you should do, and you should understand objects. If you don't understand objects, start there. You know, start with the tripod, get help, get command, get member. If you don't have those locked in, you gotta get those locked in. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
One step at a time. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Absolutely it. Man,
Oh,
shout
wait,
out.
I think I have to mention regex one more time
Oh,
for
that's
Jake.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Mention what?
Regex.
What is regex? Sorry.
I think regex is the superpower in programming where you can do regular expressions,
Oh, is that
which
what
is what it
for?
stands for. Yes,
Ah.
regular expressions. Maybe you've heard of regular expressions.
No, there was this guy who talked to
Poor
PowerShell
Jake.
Wednesday
I'm
about
killing
it.
that guy.
He's watching.
Jake's always watching. He's a good guy. Well, I think that's mostly everything. I kind of wanted to do the live. I think we're going to have to save some of the more game showy stuff for the future. If you all out there are interested in the future of seeing more like a game showy live coding challenge kind of thing for PowerShell Wednesday, let us know. We've been kind of ideating on some different ideas of ways to kind of show you what we did today, which is just us actually fixing scripts and going through that. And, you know, we can talk about things in a high level, but show you practically like what's really going on through our minds. So you can learn from it and you can see that, well, as you did see, we always make mistakes, especially when the cameras are rolling. And sometimes for me, more so when the cameras are off, because I'm like less held accountable. So I'm like, I'm okay, like rerunning it 3 times.
I mean, isn't that how you learn?
Yep, it
You're
actually
like,
is.
hey, I don't know how to do this. If I knew how to do it, I would just write the code.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I know how to do that, and you're done. But you're working on something, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, or I don't know how this is. I don't know what it does. I like doing that on my live demos. I'm like, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Because I think the last time I was actually presenting last week, and someone asked me, hey, what does this do? I'm like, I don't know. Because I don't know everything. Like, well, let's find out. So, you know, do that command and then slap what if on it and hit enter and see what it does.
Yep.
You know,
I see that a lot.
Exploration.
People will ask a question, like whether somebody I've helped in the past or just publicly, they'll ask a question and like the answer is just try it. You know, don't be afraid of red text. Don't be afraid of any of it. Like you said earlier, the tripod, go back to it, get help, get member. You got to just refer to these things all the time. And if you get stuck, find a community, reach out, learn new things. It's all out there. I think what I find the limiting factor for a lot of people is just the consistency of being able to embrace that long-term kind of thinking.
Yeah, the learning this stuff has done a tremendous amount for my career. So anyone who's like, oh, I don't have time for it, I would encourage you to make as much time as you reasonably can for it, because it can do a lot for you. Now, you know, everyone's life situation is different. So some people are going to have more time than others. But, you know, don't be like, oh, I'll get to that later. You know, make time for it now, because it's
never come.
It's an additive effect.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said later may never come.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
later.
Yep. No, I'm a big fan of whenever I've done anything harder, I'm like, so what is the absolute smallest first step I can take? That's like the absolute bare minimum, knowing that in 5 or 10 years, who knows what happens. So like, if that is just showing up to one of these is a first step for some people. I think a big second step would be, if you haven't yet, actually try after the PowerShell Wednesday, dabble a little bit. Maybe not with everything, maybe with some things, find something that you can start working on. And it goes such a long way long-term. And I mean, we're all in the same boat here, as we've had that transformative experience with PowerShell. We've seen it in other people. And hopefully you've gotten a little glimmer and you can jump on the journey and join us here. And shout out to everybody who is here with us all the time on PowerShell Wednesdays, or just learning on your own, contributing in your own way, helping your org, trying to make things more secure, better for you, future you, replacement you, all the good things. Oh, I kind of could chat here all day about this, to be honest. It's kind of nice. It's turned into a little bit of a pod.
That's right. Well, I mean, we are surrounded by other tech people at a tech conference, so
Yes.
you know, it's easier to geek out when you're doing that. But you know, that's what I love about the PowerShell Wednesdays. It's like a weekly get together of similar-minded people trying to do things with technology. And so even if you aren't able to make it to a conference, you can join us for, you know, mini snack-sized versions of conferences every week.
Wow, dude, you appreciate that. Yeah. And if PowerShell Wednesday isn't your thing, or maybe PowerShell isn't part of your job, and like you're more of find some community, right? Whatever it is, DBA stuff, find your DBA folks. Yeah, you can tap into the PowerShell community here and there, but no matter what you're doing, you're going to be so much more successful in your career if you have others with you who are on, you know, similar goals, kind of growing together, who are going to accept you as you are, and understand that nobody's perfect out of the gate, have that long-term thinking. Boom. Well,
Words of wisdom by Andrew.
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it, right? You know, yeah. Good times. Definitely recommend getting to online stuff or in-person conferences if you can find it. A lot of times B-sides, there'll be smaller things that are on the weekend that maybe you could afford, or if you can make it out to a real conference. Shout out to PowerShell Summit. If you're in Austin, there's SpiceWorld as well. A lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, PowerShell Summit is not in Austin.
No, SpiceWorld. Did I not say SpiceWorld?
No, you did.
Okay, yeah,
You
SpiceWorld
did.
is also. Yeah, no, PowerShell Summit is not, but I'm excited for that. Wait, are we all going to? Yeah, we're all going to be there, right?
That's
Yeah, I'll
right.
be there.
I'll be there.
I will be there.
What are you doing?
I've been stockpiling some dad jokes.
Oh, have you?
Uh-oh.
That doesn't sound like.
What do you
is
mean,
this a new
uh-oh?
thing?
What do you mean, uh-oh? Okay, fine. If it's not dad jokes, it's going to be regex. Take your pick. Sorry, Jake. I'm either talking dad jokes or regex. Or no, I guess I'll talk PowerShell too.
PowerShell Regex.
Yeah, I mean, I got my hat. I'm ready to rock some PowerShell swag and hand out some more stickers and buttons and just have a good old time.
It is always a good time. Oh, look at this, Scott. I was trying to convince Scott to go. Let me wrap up this officially, and then we'll just chat a little bit longer, and we'll
Okay.
cut it later. Oh, good. Friends, thank you for being here for PowerShell Wednesday. James Petty, Stephen Judd. Find them online everywhere. I'll have some links in the show notes probably tomorrow. By the time this goes live, hey, if you're watching this in the future, check the show notes for links to everything we talked about. A lot of good stuff here. Reach out to them, and you can join us every single Wednesday. PowerShell Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're here having fun. Honestly, I might take some time off over the holidays for a week or two, depending on where things fall. So, and we're going to have to put the perfect streak to a little bit of an end, but that's all right. We have to prioritize things sometimes. Check us out in the PDQ Discord, discord.gg/PDQ. Hit us up with any ideas you have for future PowerShell Wednesdays. Let us know where you are in your journey in the PowerShell scripting channel. And take care, everybody.